We've talked in the past a lot about StarCraft and the future of this franchise moving forward, and we've mainly, guys, on the YouTube channel focused on talking a lot about StarCraft 3 and what this title could bring us and the hopes and the keeping our fingers crossed that this is a title that does come out. Now, some of you out there, which I would say certainly certain people in the community, don't want a StarCraft 3. So in this first segment of the show, I want to talk about ways in which we could see StarCraft 2 continue to thrive for the foreseeable future. So let's get into it. So as I said, guys, StarCraft 3, I believe, is the next thing that needs to happen for StarCraft to continue the legacy, the lore, the story that is StarCraft, but also just, kind of giving us somewhat of a fresh start. From the esports perspective to casual gamers, we know that there's a shaky past for StarCraft 2, and I think that StarCraft 3 would really continue moving forward and pushing the boundaries, raising the bar for the esports side of things, for just from a content perspective, from a number of perspectives, guys, from the esports side to just casual gamers being able to continue to play this title and to continue to really see the future flourish for StarCraft. And so with that, guys, the question I want to raise is, if we don't get a StarCraft 3, will Blizzard add a new expansion pack to StarCraft 2? Because I believe that they've made moves, more recently than not for StarCraft 2, which I think are great. That being the free-to-play elements now of StarCraft 2. Wings of Liberty being free-to-play. Anybody can play it now, which is amazing. But, they continue to add, of course, different, map packs and things of that nature, which is great. But I think that a lot of us are hoping to see, continuations of whether you want to talk about the story, the lore, or you want to just see, some changes happen from a graphical perspective and things of that nature, and even adding new races and such, which we've talked about on the YouTube channel. Adding a race would be something I would love to see in StarCraft 3, and if they don't plan on doing StarCraft 3, that being Blizzard, I would love them to add a new race in an expansion pack for StarCraft 2, that being a hybrid race or something that can be added to a new expansion pack for StarCraft 2. I just think it makes sense, guys, because if you want to continue moving forward, and look, back in the day when StarCraft 2 came out, it was one of those games, and RTSs were on the rise in a major way, and really being led by StarCraft. And as time's gone on, the first-person shooters have really just kind of overtaken everything at this point. But I would love to see, with the StarCraft 3, they could obviously really kind of put a real focal point once again and spotlight on the RTS genre, because it's one of my favorite genres in the entire gaming landscape. And so I would love to see them do that moving forward. But if they didn't, I believe that the least that they could do is add another expansion pack with a new race, with, some, whether you want to call it upgraded graphics and things of that nature, that would be awesome. Because we know from StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2, the graphical perspective of it, I mean, just seeing visually StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2, I mean, the differences were so obvious. From StarCraft 2 to StarCraft 3, it might not be quite as, gripping, and as, the graphics may not be quite as, huge of a comparison from 2 to 3, but still, I mean, guys, we're talking 10 years later, we have StarCraft 2. A StarCraft 3 with the graphics nowadays and such, they could do something really special here with this RTS. So that's why I want to see a StarCraft 3. But will Blizzard add an expansion pack? I think it really comes down to us as the community has to be the ones voicing our opinion here once again. It's the same thing with the developers over at Blizzard have stated that they are open to a StarCraft 3. They just want to hear what the community thinks about it. And a lot of people in the community seem to be very hesitant, almost afraid to go into the unknown with a StarCraft 3, which I think would help us continue pushing onwards and pushing forward. And even if StarCraft 3 wasn't, let's just say for the sake of conversation, isn't a good title, you can always go back to StarCraft 2. You can always go back to StarCraft 1. At least taking that leap of faith to see your game continue to succeed and thrive over time, I think would be a really big deal. But those are my thoughts. I do think that Blizzard should make an expansion pack if they don't plan on completing StarCraft 3. We'll have to wait and see. 2 FPS StarCraft games have been canceled, so they're definitely, StarCraft is definitely in the back of their mind over at Blizzard, but as far as an RTS, a true RTS, StarCraft 3 coming out, it's hard to say. I believe that it might very well be secretly in development at this point, and I'm hoping that we get it at some point or another. We'll have to wait and see, guys. Let me know, though, in the comment section down below, do you want to see Blizzard add an expansion pack, another one to StarCraft 2, or would you rather see them work on StarCraft 3? Let me know, and for more StarCraft 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.